Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Sunday Assembly Los Angeles. Special hello to everybody. We're live streaming. Hi. If you're super cool, you're on Twitter, and we actually want you to tweet about it, that you're here, that you're amazing, and that we're also live streaming so we can get a lot of people joining.
Tell your friends to tune in right now.
Tell your friends. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ryan. And we are not entirely sure what we did to get on Amy, the director's bad side, but we will be the host for today's Sunday Assembly about sex on 9/11. So that's that's us. Thank you, Amy.
Just in case you're not entirely sure what we're about, we are a God-free community that celebrates a worldview grounded in reason and evidence.
And we invite everyone to join us as we do our best to live better, help often, and wonder more. You know, something's different about you. Like, I swear there's something. Oh, right, those are my babies inside of her. That's what that is right there, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I figure the best part about hosting when you're pregnant is if I forget anything or I have to run out to pee, like, who's gonna judge me? Like, I dare you to judge me. We also have a boy and a girl coming, so actually really what I'm baking is future Sunday Assembly MCs.
Getting them used to it. Okay, I think we have like a packed house here. Way to go, guys. If there is any room in the, you know what? I was going to tell you to scoot in the middle, but we're packed solid. So just everyone stay where you are. You're looking beautiful. You're doing great.
So if you see someone on their name tag that has a special sticker on it, I believe it's green. It means that they are a first timer to Sunday Assembly. So give them a smile, say hi, make sure they have a good time so that next month they can be welcoming other people that have special dots.
All right, today's theme is shedding shame, sex, stigma, and our human bodies. So I just want to give you a quick heads up. There's going to be some frank, straight sex talks coming up, and there may be mention of hoo-has and or disco sticks, except I'm pretty sure she's going to use the real words. So if that is, there's no porn or anything like that, but if that's something that you're not into or you're with someone that you don't want to hear that sort of thing, then you might want to just step out for a coffee right after the poetry reading, and the talk will be about 15 minutes.
Paul Svensson and the Wonder More Warblers are going to come on up and lead us through two fantastic songs. These songs are sing-alongs, so everybody get on up, get ready to sing with them.
Good morning, LA! Woo! You never fail to impress me about how well you guys sing. And of course, we've got the Wonder More Warblers up here to encourage and delight and amuse, along with me. There's a dark and a sunny side of life, and there's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also make. Here's the chorus, this is you. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day, it will brighten all our way, if we keep on the sunny side of life. Though storm and fury broke today, crushing hopes that we cherish. All those clouds and storms will at time pass away, and the sun will shine bright and clear. Here we go! And keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day, it will brighten all our way, if we keep on the sunny side of life. Oh, you sound so good today. Let us greet with the song of hope each day. Though the moments be cloudy or fair, lend a hand to our neighbors always. Let them know they will be our hit it! Stay on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. us every day. It will brighten all our way as we keep on sunny. Change keys! Oh, keep on sunny side, always on sunny side. Keep on sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all our way if we keep on sunny side of. If we keep on sunny side. One more real soft. If we keep on sunny side of life. All right. We do the next one now, right? I'm paying attention. So why don't we all sit for this one? No, not you. By the way, if I encourage you to stand up during a song and you don't want to, don't. There are no rules here. Especially want to hear the guys on this song. Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. When I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, but you're the key to my peace of mind. And you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. When my soul's in the lost and found, you came along to claim it. What was wrong with me, till your kiss helped me name it. Now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for, and if I make you happy, I don't need to do more, 'cause you make me feel, there we go, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. What you done to me, you make me feel so good inside, and I just wanna be close to you. You make me feel so alive. Here we go. You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Oh, you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Ooh.
That was beautiful, guys. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Warblers. Thank you, Paul. All right, a little heads up. Our program is going to end around 12:15, and then please stay. We have coffee. We're going to have some snacks in the back so you guys can visit, talk about all the exciting things. There's also a community table that will have events and service opportunities coming up this month, so please check that out.
As part of our Help Often mantra, Sunday Assembly does collections, differing ones each month for groups. And today we collected non-perishable items for the Westside Food Bank. So thank you to all of you who brought stuff. And now it's been about a year.
All right, so I think some of you in the front, they might have asked you to share some stories, some things going on in your life, some big events. And then what we like to do is we like to share them in front of everybody. So good or bad, we just like to connect everybody and let everybody know what's going on. So first, there's a Sunday Assembly milestone, which we actually have 5 brand new assemblies launching throughout the world today. So there's one happening in Amsterdam, there's one in East End, London, there's Kalamazoo, Michigan, Manchester, and Salt Lake City, Utah. So nice job.
We have a couple of birthdays in the house. Daniel Williams. Daniel, where are you? He's going to be 17 on September 20th. And we have Sophia S., who I'm assuming is Sophia Swallow, who is going to be 11 on the 25th of September.
Yay.
With a big
Happy
smiley
birthday,
face.
Happy birthday. Okay, I'll come back to you. I got it. Then Richard Manfredi's his Mount Rushmore podcast just released their 25th episode. So that's a big deal. Well done.
Dalton just got his PhD in neuroscience.
Wow. Great job. Then we also have Mira and Shannon are celebrating their 1-year wedding anniversary on September 18th. So congratulations. Made it a year. Nice job. Nice.
We have a very recent wedding. Tina, now Dixon McCrory, entered a joyful open marriage with Kyle Dixon, I heard on Thursday.
On Thursday, right? Congratulations. She's got the ring. She's showing it off right there. There it is. Yeah.
Nope.
And then, we like to open it up a little bit. So I think you had one.
My brother Joshua turned 20 on the 3rd.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And we have a couple minutes, just as anybody else, if you missed the card. Yeah.
Hi, I'll be back up shortly. I celebrated my 12-year anniversary with my partner yesterday.
Cheers, congratulations.
My dad, Jack Balsley, turned 61 yesterday, and he's here visiting us now from Texas.
Birthday. We're glad you're here. One more?
else?
Anybody else? Joe and Pedro, 25th anniversary on the 29th. 25. In Patagonia. Wow. Congratulations. 25 years. Well done.
I want to congratulate Ryan Bell on 1 year of Life After God podcast organization. It's amazing. Thank you for all you do.
Hey, congrats. Congrats, Ryan.
Good? All right.
Okay.
Coming back.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. No rush. Keep them safe. Okay. Speaking of kids, Sayla Kids are now going to convene across the driveway. That's our childcare service. It's with professionals. So right now they can meet out in the, right in the back there. He will escort your children over to the back, and you can come, and then the parents can come and rejoin us afterwards. So yeah, all your kids can head out now.
Unless you haven't had the birds and the bees talk with them yet, then by all means they can stay, and you're welcome.
All right, now that the kids are gone, this is time for the icebreaker. This is the special time where just find someone you don't know. Find someone next to you that you've never seen before. Introduce yourself. And then we're just going to give you a quick question here. Break the ice, chat a little bit. Our question is going to be, here's our question. If you could have been told one thing that you weren't told when you were a teenager, what would it be? What would you be told? What did you wish you knew when you were a teenager?
Ryan will probably be embarrassed that I was like a little bit boy crazy when I was a teenager. So I wish someone would have told me that I should have spent more time making girlfriends, because that would have lasted a lot longer.
Yeah.
You know? What about you?
Let's see, mine is, so I wish I knew that all of my friends were having sex in high school. I didn't know, because I was not having sex. And then I found out when I was senior, like they were all having sex and no one told me. So that was weird. Yeah, I did. Eventually, thank you.
All right, find
thanks.
somebody. Share what you
So
would
share a thing you wish you knew when you were a teenager. All right, welcome back. Okay, so next up, I hope you met someone cool. Keep talking when you have some coffee afterwards, please. Now, Marsha, where's Marsha? Here's Marsha. We're going to have a poetry reading. It's going to be performed by Marsha Swallow here. And the poetry is from Kimberly Dark, who is a friend of Sunday Assembly, and she's a performance artist and a writer and a sociologist. And Marsha will now share some of that art with us.
I think I'll just read it, though, and not perform it, if that's okay with you guys. It's called This Body by Kimberly Dark. When I hear people say that body is the result of time at the gym, too much booze, eating the wrong food, surgical sculpting, do they not understand that a body is a result of everything? Everything you've done, seen, felt, and eaten, lived, moved, and loved? The result of the shame or adoration that's been given and how it's been taken. The body knows and remembers everything. It is the flesh portal between soul and society, between life and death, and it is also always life and death, both growth and decay. It is soul and society because where else can the daily lines be written but in the small movements, the thickening, the bones? Where can wisdom and hardship land if not in the book of life, lived like lips on skin, fist on flesh, words on cells? We are everything at once, including interpretations. The body is a result of you and how you treat me and how I treat you. Every morsel of love I've chosen to give myself, chewing carefully, licking lips, longing sometimes for more than I have. This body is your lesson and my blessing and our sacrament. There is no linear process that leads to a certain body. The body is everything. Thanks.
Thank you, Marcia. It is now my pleasure to introduce our main speaker to the stage. Kate Scalisi is a sexual health educator, writer, and consultant. She's spoken at Yale School of Public Health, Johns Hopkins Medical University, Northwestern University, and Emory University. She has a degree in neuroscience from Stonehill College and a master's of public health focused on sexual education from Johns Hopkins University. I also have it on good authority that she's done it a time or two. Please welcome Kate to the stage.
Hoo-ha, cookie, cupcake, down there, tingly bits, below the belt, or nothing. These are all just a few of the euphemisms that we have all heard when it comes to talking about the triangle between our legs that is our genitals. Most of these are very related to the vulva, but again, we've heard them all. Many of us have probably also said them. I know I do still to get through spam filters and to get into mainstream media. It's the only way. It's the only way. We've probably laughed at one of them. Maybe it made us uncomfortable, or maybe it was just like, oh, that one's silly. I never thought of that before. And then some of us maybe have always felt a visceral discomfort that we talk about our genitals differently than we talk about any other body part. We've always kind of intuited that it's not just harmless or silly, and it's probably not protecting anyone, which is the argument that often gets made, right? Like if we don't tell them what it is, they won't touch it, they won't explore it, it'll just be hidden, it'll be nothing. Okay? And to those of you who've ever felt that, you are right, and I'm going to show you how and why today. So as my lovely MC has introduced me, I'm Kate, and I'm a sex educator, and my goal in life and my mission in this world is to create freedom and pleasure for each and every person in this room and beyond. And when I talk about freedom and pleasure, yes, I mean the freedom to experience pleasure, because it's often seen as frivolous, not necessary, right? Okay. But also freedom from concerns and shame and embarrassment and fear and all of those things about our bodies, our genitals, our desires, our wants, our longings, everything and anything holding us back from having intimate, exciting, and fulfilling sex, whatever that looks like individually to each and every person. Are we all on board with that? Is that something we all want? Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. And so one of the pieces of that, there are many bedrocks of this. It is not all or nothing. There's no magic key, no matter what Cosmo and every other magazine out there tries to tell us. But one of the bedrocks of that is not being so afraid to even name, again, that triangle between our legs down there. It's being able to speak those words. And so I'm going to talk us through a couple of myths that are rooted in this silence around genitals and talk about why it actually is harming us, from consent to pleasure to shame. It's not helping us in any way. Excuse me. So myth number one, who here has ever thought that vulvas are more complicated than penises? Raise your hand if you've ever had that thought, and don't leave me standing up here on my own, because I know at least some of you are lying. Okay, so recently a person on Instagram has had a claim to fame because of penis latte art that he is making, which, please, send it my way. And in the interview, when this person was asked, well, do you ever do vulvas? The response was, well, they're just more complicated, so not really. Every now and then, but not really. This made my blood boil. I was so angry because a well-drawn penis has just as much detail and intricacy as a well-drawn vulva, okay? Right? Like, they're both amazing and intricate and detailed. But also because what does that say to people who have vulvas? It says you are complicated. Your pleasure is complicated. And I don't have to figure it out. And if it works for me, then that's fine. It works for you too. And like, I don't have to spend the time figuring out what it is. It impacts our pleasure. It impacts being able to say yes and no because they go hand in hand, right? So that's myth number one. And really, they are all the same parts organized differently. Let me make sure this slide comes up. This is a slightly graphic slide. Apologize. I made sure that it is not too graphic. But what I want to point out on this one here, let me see if, there you go. You can see as we go down that they're really the same until the very end. The genitals look the same when they're developing in utero. And then if we shift to this one over here, there we go. This is the clitoris. That one's the penis. Some people say the penis is a big clitoris. Some people say the clitoris is a little penis. You get to choose however you want to. If you want to talk about that. I got yelled at when I said it was a little penis. I got very quickly corrected. So I was like, oh, sorry, I'm corrected. But the point is, Emily Nagoski in her book, Come As You Are, it's amazing. One of her central tenets is all the same parts organized differently. And if these two images don't prove that, I don't know what else does. And it's not just the genital parts. It's our brains and how we're wired. It's how we experience pleasure and pain and sensation. All the same parts organized differently. They are not that different, even if they look it, right? And of course, I want to acknowledge and recognize that it is not a binary. Genitals come on a spectrum just like everything else in this wonderful world. Okay, that's myth number one. Myth number two is that your genitals are always right. So there have been some studies looking at, what turns people on? How do we figure this out? And so what they do is they bring people into a lab and they hook up their tingly bits, whatever tingly bits they have, to different monitors. So for penises, they put a little strap around it to measure how hard it gets. And for vaginas, they measure how wet it gets to see what turns you on. And then they show them porn, which, sign me up, please. Love to. Please take me to your lab to do this. And they measure. They see how hard the people with penises get and how wet the people with vulvas get. And then they also ask them to say, hey, how are you feeling? Do you feel turned on? Is this making you feel like a little sexy and fun, right? And what we find is this. For people with penises, when they get turned on, when their penises get hard, it matches and aligns with the sexuality that they say they are. So for people who are heterosexual, they only get turned on when they watch the heterosexual porn and vice versa, okay? And then when you look at the objective versus subjective arousal, so if the penis gets hard versus what they're thinking, you see that about 50% of the time it matches up. So their penis is hard and they say, yeah, I feel aroused. Those match. It's concordance. Okay, so that's people with penises. Then we look at people with vulvas. And what we see is that their vulvas get wet for basically anything and every type of porn they watch. Right? So regardless of their sexuality, and even in fact when they watch animals having sex, their vulvas are still getting wet, okay? Okay. And then when you look at their subjective arousal, their what are they thinking and feeling, these only align, guess how much? Give me a number. Who said, whoa. I'm like, y'all read the book, didn't you? Some of you read the study. Okay, 10% is it. So only 10% of the time is this concordance, this matching up of what the genitals are doing and what the brain is thinking, okay? Why does this matter? This matters because when we hear about sexual assault and there's this argument, well, the person got off, they were wet, that discounts it, right? But in fact, what we know is that the genitals only tell us, oh, hey, that's sexy. So the animals having sex wasn't being like, oh, I'm turned on by this. It was like, oh, this is sexual stimuli. This is saying, okay, yep, Just like when we get cold, we get goosebumps, right? Or we shiver, right? It's just a stimuli. Versus our brain always tells us. And so one thing that I hear a lot is this idea of, my partner gets turned on so easily and I don't, and what's up with that? And this is where this concordance comes in versus non-concordance. And we also see that for people with vulvas, because it is not as common, it is viewed as not being normal. And in fact, it really is. Okay, that's myth number 2. Myth number 3 is that desire and the desire to have sex just happens like that. So specific example of this is, and this is going to be a very heteronormative example from someone I've worked with, so please excuse that for the moment, is my husband, like I'll be bending over to like pick something up, kids' toys, clothes off the floor, something like that, and my husband will be instantly hard and turned on. And like, I don't understand because I was literally cleaning, like I don't get it, what happened? So this is not sexy, I don't feel sexy, I'm like in PJs, right? So I hear this a lot. And this is called spontaneous desire. Very original name, pretty self-explanatory. And it's when it feels like the desire just happens. And the penis is, because of the concordance, the penis is most likely to match up, right? They see it, they're turned on, they think it. Okay, so that's spontaneous. People with vulvas, what I often hear is some version of this. The sex is great when we have it, but I never want to have it. And I want to want it, but I never want it. But it's really good. Like, our sex life is great when it actually happens. And this is something called responsive desire. Again, self-explanatory name, okay? And so with responsive desire, it is this idea that you only get turned on, you only have this concordance start to happen when after sexy things start to happen. So after the stimuli, after the kissing and the massaging and the touching and whatever sexy thing is to you and each person. And so here again we see these aren't matching up. And so how did we get here? Two ends, masculinity and morality. So masculinity, this idea that what happens to people who identify as male, generally cis, hetero, white, affluent males, right? That's who a lot of the studies are done on. What they have is normal, and this isn't just with sex. I feel like I'm preaching a little bit here, that this is a group that I don't have to go into this too much. But this isn't just with sex. We see this in so many aspects of our lives. And so with sex, that's the same. And if you don't match up to that, if your genitals are different, if your genitals and your gender don't match, if your desire comes later, then you're seen as broken and not normal, and it's just not true. Because when it comes to sex, what I've learned, I've been doing this for over 7 years now, and what I've learned is that there is no normal. There's more and less common, and that's it. Okay? And it's all beautiful and wonderful, and then ultimately normal. Okay? That's masculinity. Morality. The way I like to sum up this, without doing a whole nother talk on it, is the nerve that runs to the genitals, to the penis, to the vulva, to the scrotum, and to the anus is the pudendal nerve. Does anyone know the Latin word that pudendal comes from and what it means? I think I heard a little bit whispered, I'm not sure. So it comes from the Latin for to be ashamed. Okay? So the very nerve that brings us pleasure in our genitals, exactly that reaction. The first time I heard it, I was like, no. So this shame is so insidious that even the nerves that we have are named after it and for it. So there are so many layers of shedding that need to happen beyond just the not naming, because even when we named it originally, whoever did, they went with the shame response. But it is not all doom and gloom. There is good news. The good news is that we are seeing a shift slowly but surely. We are seeing people step up and say, I deserve pleasure. Consent is not a question. Needs to be the mandated, needs to be what's normal. And we are seeing movements like body positivity and fat positivity and free the nipple. And 2 of New York City, which is where I'm from, 2 of our most popular subway stations earlier this year, Union Square and Times Square, got taken over with these ads. Like this from Thinx. Thinx are period panties, okay? This would not have happened even 2 years ago. And I mean, this is pretty, they are not trying to be subtle here. And in the subway cars, there are these, which made people uncomfortable because, of course, I was listening to what everyone was saying as they walked into the subway cars. And I was like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna be uncomfortable. Tell me more, right? So we're seeing this change. We're seeing people stepping up and starting to shed this shame. And so why does this matter? Consent and pleasure are the 2 most important reasons. So rather than kind of dig into each, here's what happens when we start by naming and owning our genitals. Whatever name you want to use is okay, by the way. Doesn't matter. Coochie, cupcake, whatever. Choose from what you want. So, Bob Dylan. Amen. There you go. Now you know, call this one Bob Dylan from now on. Not Josh, Bob Dylan. Okay. So what starts to happen is, 1, you realize you aren't alone. You realize, oh, hey, your inner lips are longer than your outer lips. Me too. Oh, I'm not alone. And sometimes that shared reality for some people is all they need, right? And for others, it's a small first step. But when you start to name and you start to own these things, we start to shed that shame and you realize you are not alone. And whether we're talking about sex, body differences, even chronic illness, knowing you're not alone is really, really friggin' powerful, right? So then once we have that. Then you can start to examine the thoughts and the ideas and the stereotypes, and you start to question them, because now you know you're not alone, you're not weird or abnormal, because other people are like you, and there is no normal, right? I'm just gonna keep saying that over and over again. But once you do that, you start to be able to question, and so these ideas lose their power. This idea that vulvas are more complicated than penises loses its power. This idea that, desire needs to just happen and that what your genitals say is always right, they start to lose their power, and you get to question. And then the third thing that happens, which is my favorite and most exciting part personally, is that you get to start exploring. Now you get to say, well, these things that I thought were true may not be true, so let me figure out what's true for me. And you get to play, and you get to explore, and you get to find out both your yeses and your nos. And so I know we're in California, land of yes means yes, right? It's the law. And often yes means yes and no means no are pitted against each other, but in reality they're all the same, because how can you know what to say yes to or no to if you don't know the opposite as well? We need both. You can't say no without knowing your yeses. And so when we get rid of this shame and we take these steps and we name them and we start to unravel them and question, they lose their power, and we get to figure out, this is my yes, this is my no. Okay? And so this is what this is all about. It's about letting go of shame, having more consent, having sexier, more fun, and positive consent, which is always a good thing for everyone, because consent is not always easy or fun for people. And then ultimately, of course, it always comes back to ultimately finding freedom and pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was a pleasure. Kate also, she writes a wonderful blog. It's called passionbykate.com. And she also offers workshops and one-on-one coaching for women looking to have intimate, exciting, and fulfilling sex. So everybody stand up. Should they stand up, Paul? No, sit down. Sit down, everybody. Sorry about that false alarm. Here's Paul.
You can
and the Warblers
sit
for some
or
music.
stand at your pleasure, but what other song would we do now? I am looking forward to some choreography on this, on the chorus. Here we go. I love myself. I want you to love me. When I'm feeling down, I want you above me. I search myself. I want you to find me. I forget myself. I want you to remind me. I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else. Oh no, oh no, oh no. You're the one who makes me come, honey. You're the one who makes me shine. When you're around, I'm always laughing. I want to make you mine. I close my eyes, I see you before me. I think I would die if you were to ignore me. Who could see just how much I adore you? I get down on my knees, I'd do anything for you. I think we better stand up now. I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Sing it again now. I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else. Oh no, oh no, oh no. So I'll tell you a little story quickly. Chrissy Amphlett, who was the lead singer of the Divinals, was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she got involved with an organization that started in Australia called I Touch Myself. And it was all about women's health and early detection of breast cancer. Kind of changes the whole field, doesn't it? Sing it one more. I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh, do it one more time now. I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else. No, oh no, oh no, oh no.
How to follow that. All right, each day we're presented with a new opportunity to do our best. And I would like to welcome Tina, now Dixon McCrory, up to the stage to share with us about how she has been doing her best.
Okay, thank you, Sarah and twins. Like, I think when you're this pregnant, you're like Sarah and company. You're like a whole like crew everywhere you go. So that's awesome. Congratulations. I am not pregnant, but one of my coworkers asked me if I was the other day. And I was like, no, I drink a lot of beer, so I'm gonna go home and throw this dress away and get a gym membership. Thank you. Okay. So initially, I was asked to speak about. Can I use a podium? A lot of gear. Initially, I was asked to speak about feminism, which I'm really passionate about, because some fabulous Sunday Assembly member noticed my picture, I think, in the LA Weekly for a naked bike ride, which was awesome. So World Naked Bike Ride is something that's really amazing. I want to talk to you about. It's about like body positivity and bike safety. And my fantastic, amazing, supportive boyfriend actually was the one who took me to the World Naked Bike Ride over a year ago. And I didn't realize that I'm from New Orleans, and I thought that like it would just be kind of standing around drinking naked. So I just came in a pair of roller skates, and turns out, do not bring a pair of roller skates to a biking event. It was 18 miles, and I made it about 2 blocks before I fell and scraped myself up, and then it's okay. It was really, really, really funny, and I just toddled back to the waiting area. I was like, I'm just gonna go have a taco. So this year I went, and it went way better. And I was so proud of us as a couple because we were biking around. And for me, I was always, my sister and I, she's older, I'm younger, and I was the pretty one and she was the smart one. And that was bullshit. She's beautiful and I'm smart. But I was skinny and I had a big smile and everybody loved the way I looked and didn't really care what I had to say. And that was super damaging for both of us, because most of my 20s, I was about 120 pounds, and now I'm over 150, and occasionally coworkers think I'm pregnant, and I don't care because it doesn't matter. I dated if you've never dated a black man, I recommend it. Because of this, I dated a black Latino, and he continually referred to my ass as juicy, and it really pissed me off the first month. And then he was like, your big ass is so beautiful, and I love it. And I'm really grateful to be with a white guy now who also thinks that my big ass is really beautiful. So I don't know how much time I have left. I've blacked out. So I want to share a couple of quotes with you guys and get a little more serious because this week I got married. And my amazing, generous, endlessly understanding boyfriend was my man of honor. And my amazing, generous, endlessly patient lover was my best man. And my father passed away 2 years ago. He was there in spirit. And he walked me down the aisle in spirit to Here Comes the Sun, his favorite song, and mine. Sorry. And this week is almost enough to make me believe in God. But actually, I'm Buddhist, so I believe that love is the only thing that transcends time and space, and that we all have access to that all the time, and that you cannot run out of it. So if anyone tells you that you need to only be with one partner, or if you need to be with a partner of a certain sex, or if you need to tone down your attitude or hide your breasts, you can tell them from me to go fuck themselves. I'm not Latino, but people think I am. I'm actually Greek and Irish. So I wanted to share this, a couple of quotes. Fortune favors the brave, Latin proverb. Here comes the sun, George Harrison. That was me, I already said that stuff. Equilibric, my dad. The free soul is rare, but you know it when you see it. Basically because you feel good, very good, when you're with it. Charles Bukowski. Casey Diane, who I just happened to find on Instagram, I'll close with her. I love the person I've become because I fought to become her. Boom.
Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you. All right, now it's time for the collection. So we're going to have some boxes coming around here for cash. We also have people with Square card readers. So if you have a card and would like to donate, just raise your hand. Each month, it's $1,200 per assembly-ish, $1,200 for the equipment, for the space, for the chairs, and it's supported by you guys. So if you would like to help us out, we would appreciate it, and we'd keep this going for many future assemblies.
If you're looking to connect with people more beyond just Sunday Assembly, we've got a lot of great events coming up on our website. There's a sing-along, discussion group, game night, and we do a special social event each month. And for September, it is going to be on the 18th, and it's Tree People. Assemblers are going to meet up at 11 a.m. at the Tree People headquarters in Coldwater Canyon Park and go on a half-mile hike, or I guess there's a 2.5-mile if you're very ambitious. You can go to our website for more details on that event, as well as all the other social events that are coming up.
Also, this month's featured service project is the LA Kitchen, where, under the guidance of professionals, we'll be cleaning, cutting, peeling, and zesting a variety of donated produce from local farmers and wholesale companies before they're whipped into nutritious meals for the needy. I think there's limited spots left, so if that's something that interests you, check that out right away.
So I personally really love this topic. For those of you who have had conversations with me or Ryan probably know that we both grew up in very conservative religious homes. And for me, the only thing I was ever told about sex was don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. To the point where I was even taken out of sex education classes in public school. So I was sent to the library for an hour, which kind of at the time I thought was cool because I got to leave and no one else got to leave. But really did me a disservice in the long run. And I actually got my first piece of sex advice from my mother on my wedding day. And I remember, well-intentioned, better late than never, I guess. But I remember being really, really angry because I was like, I already know everything. Why would you wait so long? So as we are growing babies currently, it's something that Ryan and I have become very passionate about, to have sex be an open topic in the home. I'll admit it makes me uncomfortable not having those kind of models. I've had to push through some of those things, but the shame around sex is something that we've become very passionate about because we've personally experienced the downsides of it. However, ironically, there was no sex involved in the making of these babies because we did in vitro fertilization, so I sort of feel like, damn it, maybe I didn't need a sex talk.
That worked out.
It's going to complicate the birds and the bees with our kids is really what I'm saying.
Yeah, so the stork mixes the sperm with the embryo.
Doctors
in a
are
petri dish.
involved.
Yeah. And the lab technician comes in. All right, so before we get to our last song, next month, October 9th is the next Sunday Assembly, and the theme is going to be Dia de los Muertos. So our featured speaker is Joe Barnes, and he is the Southern California Outreach Coordinator for Compassion and Choices. the nation's oldest and largest nonprofit focused on end-of-life options. At this assembly, we're doing something cool. We'll be hosting a secular memorial table. So we want to encourage you to bring in pictures of any loved ones that have passed so that we can honor their memories together. We've had some heavy topics.
We have.
We have sex this month. We're doing death next month.
Yeah.
Hopefully on November we can do like the science of kitten and puppy cuteness or something. Like let's round this out maybe. Yeah. So if you're able to join us for next month's Sunday Assembly, please don't forget to RSVP on Sunday at sundayassemblyla.org, and then also post it on social media so you can tell your friends that you're coming.
And we are now on Yelp, so you can go on, give us a review, tell everyone how amazing it is so they can find secular community. I wasn't here last month, so I learned this morning that we can be found under the church section. So surprise! We've got coffee and cake and everything in the back afterwards, and we can be in this space until 1:15, so please stick around, chat with new friends, make some more, and then we go to lunch for anyone who would like to. You're all welcome, right across the street at the Oinkster at 1:30.
All right, so we have one last song. So here's our beautiful crew. And so I just want to say a special thanks to Kate. Also thanks to Paul, thanks to the Warblers, thank you to Tina. Thank you to Marcia and all the volunteers that made this happen, and thank you to you. So hit it.
Soon as the words come up, we'll practice it real quick. There we go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. Sing that. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head. Sing it again now. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head. And one more time. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. Good. You'll find that coming up in the song. And when it's time to do that, you will. But let's all stand up unless you don't want to. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. I've been looking at stars tonight, and I think, oh, how I miss that bright sun. I'll be a dreamer till the day I die, but they say, oh, how the good die young. But we're all strange, and maybe we don't want to change. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. But the gun still rattles, the gun still rattles, oh. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. Spent a lot of nights on the run. I think, oh, like I'm lost and can't be found. I just waited for my day to come. I think, oh, I don't want to let you down. 'Cause something inside has changed, and maybe we don't want to stay the same. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. And the guns still rattle, the guns still rattle, oh. Oh, the guns still rattle, the guns still rattle, oh. And I don't want a never-ending life. I just want to be alive while I'm here. Same thing, sing that now. And I don't want a never-ending life. I just want to be alive while I'm here. And I don't want to see another night lost inside a lonely life while I'm here. Got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. spirits in my head and they won't go. And the guns still rattle, the guns still rattle, oh. Oh, the guns still rattle, the guns still rattle, oh.
Thanks again, everybody. Until next time, we invite you to live better, help often, and wonder more.
And they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. And the guns still rattle, the guns.